Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Sold with Updike Pugh.
I'm Jeff Updike.
I'm Weston Pugh, and today on episode 323, we're going to feature a really amazing house over at 5045 Milam Street in East Dallas.
And in our second segment today, we're going to talk about what would a professional do?
That's really important. I think that is going to have hopefully some legs, and we'll talk a lot about that. But before we jump into all that, let's take and talk a little bit about what is happening in the news here in Dallas. So this is interesting. We kind of decided to pull some topics that have happened and kind of review those and maybe get your feedback on them. I think the first one that we're going to talk about, though, that I saw was a little sensationalized, and it was talking about the rise in foreclosures. It's on the Dallas Business Journal. And when I first saw this is what I was scrolling, and I literally stopped, and I was like, what is this? And you kind of read into it and you realize it's not that big of a deal.
It's really not. The Dallas Business Journal writes articles for multiple cities across the country, and I was looking through it, and there a couple of things that it noted was that the foreclosure rate's only like 1.17%. That's for Dallas, and that's really low compared. So it's half of what it is in other markets. In Texas, that's 1 out of 1,400 houses or mortgages. 1 in 1,400. Where when you get into some of the other markets that get hit first, it's 1 out of 800 houses.
And that is such a nominal thing. So yes, maybe it was like it is correct in the fact that there may be an increase, but when we usually think of increases, we think of something that's substantial. This is nominal, and this is also when we're talking about the sand states, so we usually see that happening first. But I think that one of the things that I thought, I was like, yeah, but how many months ago was there an article that talking about how many trillions of dollars Americans have in home equity right now? And I was like, but why you lose a house in foreclosure? How you have so much money now?
Yeah, 40%, and 40% of the homes in the United States are paid off.
40%?
39.8%.
Yeah, I think, So anyway, I guess the moral of the story is read deeper and ask questions, because I really had to put the brakes on. I was like, what are they talking about? So
one of the other things that we have talked about is that the North Texas has what's called North Texas Giving Day, and it is an opportunity for. There's one organization that has created this day that over 3,600 other organizations benefit from North Texas Giving Day. It's changed dramatically over the 17 years.
And it's really interesting because they talk about in the article how that North Texas specifically has become one of the largest donors in nonprofits in the United States, which is a really great thing. When we talk about all the good things that are happening economically, we like to see this also trickle down. But it was interesting because they also broke down who was giving, and boomers still give the dominant. But the younger generation is more of them give, but it's smaller amounts, and they do it online versus in person.
And they do it on a monthly basis, as opposed to the other demographic that gives in a lump sum.
Right.
They'll sign up for the younger group will sign up for a monthly small thing as opposed to the one big thing.
It's so funny. Dave Kazusko does that for Texas Equity. Equality, Texas Equality, he does that. So I think that's really interesting. So, there's lots of stuff in the news, and we thought this would be a great way to share some really positive information.
A couple of corporate positive things that happen in that is the Fossil Group, which is, watches, clothing. They offered a $1 employee matching and created fundraising pages on their website for North Texas Giving Day. Charles Schwab donated $200,000 and did a 2-to-1 employee match.
That's amazing. I think that also on the what's the morning show that is always on Texas Morning? I think Good they actually Texas. Brought the QR code up and allowed you to scan it. So I mean, it is changing so fast on how you can give money now.
I would agree.
So one of the other thing too, given the fact that we are rapidly approaching the holiday season, is we have a list of 35 different things that you can do in DFW. And this is nowhere near all of them, but it's a really good start. if you have family and friends coming in town, this is a really good way to kind of get ideas. But this is really great because this list actually has information about when, where, and dates and times. So it really does help out. I was looking through this list, and so some of these I've done, some of them I have no interest in. But there is a gingerbread making class at Central Market. And I was like, yeah, show me how to make that, because I am terrible at that stuff. Have you?
It's funny how we've seen friends with, and some with kids and some without kids, that show their end product from the gingerbread making classes.
Oh, mine.
Oh, it's crazy.
Is it good or bad?
There's both. Here's some people just have it and some don't. I know.
I want to have it, and I guess that's why I want to take it, because I'm like, oh, mine should look good. And no, mine looks like, 5-year-old did. It's embarrassing. Anyway, we thought you'd enjoy that. Let us know what your favorite one is.
One of the things that you might want to consider doing is the Dallas Holiday Parade. And if you would reach out to us and buy our listing at 1200 Main Street, number 701, you would be able to stand on your balcony and watch that parade go
That's
by.
true. That is so true, because Kevin talks about how he has mimosas and everybody comes over and they watch everything go by.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
From the 7th floor, no less.
Yep.
All right. So let's jump into the house that we're going to talk about. And this is, thank you, Zach. Let me slow down. Let's go ahead and do a market watch look. What's going on in the market right now, Jeff?
Well, let's see.
It's chaotic.
It is chaotic. It is. I'm going to say this is unusable data right now.
Because I think that you can't make a clear opinion about what's going on. It's too short.
Yeah, it is. Real estate is very local. Real estate is week to week, and that's what we try to show here. There are some weeks that it just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't jive.
Yeah.
Because for me, I think that coming soons, I don't care about that, because that's not required. But actives are down, and so are solds. That's a really interesting 1 and 2 right there. But then we have pending, which is really late in the month. That actually should have happened last month, because now this is going to roll into next month on these closings. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's so this is reflective of the 3rd week of October.
Right.
So next week this will probably seem a little bit, I don't know, it might seem as chaotic because these numbers are feels like they're way down. So are we going to see a big swing?
I don't know. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
Stay tuned. Get great advice. It's dire. All right. So let's talk about 5045 Milam Street. This is such a great neighborhood, and I think you did some digging to kind of talk a little bit about the history, because this is a lot of history in this neighborhood.
It really is. I mean, the neighborhood dates back to the late 1920s, and Cochran Heights is a small 4-street subdivision that's probably 4 blocks wide by about 3 or 4 blocks tall. And Charles Dilbeck is a very well-known architect, and he designed a lot of the homes in this neighborhood. I think he's done just over 60 Dilbeck homes in that neighborhood.
Really?
Yeah, and it's
you see them all the time. You know exactly which ones they are.
You do. There are a lot of things that are indicative of his style, although he doesn't have one style. Because you'll see that there's some Western style homes in the neighborhood. Right. Those are his. You'll see ranch style homes, and you'll see these little Tudor homes, like the one we're talking about today, right, that are really. I mean, they all have little cool things about them.
Absolutely, and it is such an interesting neighborhood in the fact that as we were talking with the homeowners about this neighborhood buys and sells itself. So, the kids move into the house, or someone sells their house to the neighbor down the street, and then they either sell theirs or they turn it into a rental. And as they were sharing that with us, I thought, this is one of those indirect sales points that lets you know this is where people want to live. If you're willing to take and live there multi-generational, or trade up or trade down, that tells you this is just such a great neighborhood.
And their next door neighbors are across the side street, I should say, the north side, right, according to them, are moving into a house that they have built in the neighborhood that is next door to where our people are moving. because her mother lives there.
Exactly. But the other thing too is she was sharing with us, there's some prominent family members of Dallas that live in the area. There are some huge architects that live in the area. I just, it was so wonderful for them to share their time with us and like you really give us the backdrop, because that is one of those things you really don't know. Like there's more to a house than the front door and the pool. There's so much more. And this charm of the neighborhood really is walk to dinner. I mean, oh my gosh, this is such an easy neighborhood to get around in.
And the neighborhood is you have the protection of a neighborhood stabilization overlay, which is a little bit. It's like it's like a
Almost like
conservation district light, where there is city control over certain things that can be done to the exteriors of the house. So it kind of retains that neighborhood style, that 100%. True character without having to be in a historic district or a conservation district, which can be very onerous.
And she was telling us about how they all get together and they have little wine walks and how they've all pitched in together and they have like off-duty police officers like patrol the neighborhoods once or twice.
The EMP program.
I think that's such a great way to add value to a neighborhood. And when we scale out and we look at it from the map, it is central to getting around Dallas. So if you're going into downtown, it's super simple to jump on 75. If you're going into East Dallas, you've got Mockingbird right there. You've also got some of the lower streets that will get you in as well. So it does make getting around super easy.
And one of the really great things in the neighborhood that has just opened is called Prince Street Pizza. Am I saying that right?
You said it right.
Prince Street Pizza. And this is a pizza joint from New York that my wannabe New Yorker Kavita, although she's really from Plano, she went to medical school in New York, and
she's not a New Yorker.
She wants to be a New Yorker so bad, but she was telling me about it, and because she would have these in New York, and she has gone over and waited in line here.
She did?
Yes.
She waited?
To have the pizza, and she said, "Get the square pizza. There are other
Really?
types. Get the square pizza."
Interesting. Well, when we were talking to the homeowners, he stood in line for 2 hours to get the pizza.
Crazy.
Well, when I was at Old Monks in this neighborhood on Saturday morning before the game, the line was like 3 blocks long, and I don't think it was open yet. Insane. One of the other things that's just opened in the area is a place called Boogie's. Now, you're going to wonder why I put Boogie's on here, is because I have always said I want a place to go and have happy hour. Yes, I want to do a little dancing, but I don't want to do dancing, at 1 o'clock in the morning. I don't need to wait that long. I'm in bed. I'm asleep. I want to dance before 10. This place starts at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Great place to wind up for a little happy hour. They have amazing DJs that show up, and it is a hi-fi sound system. I don't know what that means, but apparently it's hi-fi.
High fidelity.
High fidelity. And also, get this, the owner, his mom and I went to high school. Hey, Courtney, what's up? Yes, this is her son. Isn't that cool?
Wow.
I'm going to send this to her. We featured your son's little get up on here. Good times, people.
The other thing we wanted to talk about in the neighborhood that you really can enjoy is all of the parks that you have access to. And there are 4 significant parks that are all within walking distance of this. You can jump across Central Expressway and go over to Cole Park. I think I'm talking in the right order.
Yep.
When you go over to Cole Park, you've got tennis courts, you've got basketball courts, you have what? Pickleball courts. It's right next to North Dallas High School and their big athletic field. This is actually the site of the first Texas State Fair back
Cole
in the
Park?
1930s. Yes.
That's a tiny park then. I wonder if the park was bigger if the state fair is that small.
It's one of the two, I'll bet.
That's excellent. Also, you've got XL Park, which is over in Bryan Place, which is great. If you head north closer to Mockingbird, that puts you right there at Glencoe, which is where we did a lot of COVID spacing drinking. And then also one of the ones over is TT Park. And TT Park, I think it has pickleball, but that's like where the parents go hang out. And I think they all walk around pushing strollers, drinking wine in the evenings. So there's a lot to get around and enjoy in this neighborhood.
Bill Burke and I met at Glencoe Park.
Did you really?
Yep.
Playing softball.
Playing softball.
Because they have 2 softball fields.
Yep.
That's right. I've gone to watch rugby there. So anyway, let's jump in and talk about 5045 Milam Street. And this is such a cute house. This Dilbeck, one of the key giveaways for me on this one are the relief bricks that it has in the exterior. This homeowner has done an exceptional job getting this home in its current state. It is gorgeous from the front door to the back door. One of the things that we noticed how much we thought was amazing was this courtyard. This courtyard is actually private from the street because of the elevation, but also because of the hedge. And I thought, what a great way to enjoy your out front door area.
Yeah, I really like that you could sit outside. They talked about how they actually put chairs outside on the yard during COVID so all the neighbors could, kind of gather in someone's yard and still keep that little 6-foot distance. You walk in, this is the living room, and these are, almost all of them are original hardwood floors. Now, that makes these hardwood floors 100 years old.
And they're in great shape.
90 years old, let's say.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And I like the way that they retain all of the stained glass windows and that the front door is original to it. It transfers into this. This is where we get the renovation begins, and you see that you walk into this dining room. The dining room is a great setup. It's got stairs that lead you upstairs to the bedrooms. But down here, this is and these people are so fun. This is an entertainment house.
It is. I could see a party of 100 here very easily.
Easily. And the way that it flows, it makes a lot of sense. One of the things that immediately captivated me is the way that we have good indoor-outdoor combination. So it feels like you're really outside even when you're inside, which I think is so important and allows you to really enjoy the house. Natural light, 100% in this. There are fireplaces that make this house so wonderful. And I always think, show me an interior designer's kitchen. This is an interior designer's kitchen. So this is the Calcutta marble, and she has used it over as a nice theme that flows throughout both in fireplaces and on countertops, as you see here. But it's a really great, usable space. So when you think about cooking a meal here for 2 or for 200, not quite 200, but you get the point. It makes sense, and it's a very workable, usable space.
You've got the eat-in kitchen, which I really like. One of the things that I think we really agreed on was how well lit the house is, and it's throughout with all the LED lighting. This is the upstairs landing as you come up the staircase, and this is
the first bedroom.
This is the first bedroom on the front. I was getting my orientation there, but the trade ceiling, which I think really adds a lot of charm to it. This is the bathroom that is on that same level. The tub, while it has been replaced, is still the original style, the original height.
I'm glad you pointed that out because I was really impressed with this. When you go into the master bedroom here, they've done a great job of, she said that they didn't have to vault the ceilings, that it was already done that way. And this is a really great way to increase space. They have 3 different groups of windows here that have a lot of natural light as well. I believe there are 3 closets.
3 closets, and they're all good size.
Yeah.
She said something about the closet being a little bit small, but
I was like,
for this age of house, you're getting some great closet space. The bathroom has been redone, and they did such a nice job on the wet area, including the tub inside that, along with the shower space.
It's exactly what we expect to see. And so when we come back and we go downstairs and we're going to take a look at what the house looks like, we're looking back towards the house so you can see both the living room and the kitchen there, one of the bedrooms. It all makes sense. It's flagstone exterior. That is a original fountain there. I think she changed the little emblem on it, but it's a great dark lagoon space. And one of the things that I was immediately fell in love with, because I think these make it so much sense, they call it a cabana, but it's also like an auxiliary dwelling unit, an ADU. And this is what it looks like inside. And the versatility that you have for this house, and we'll tell you why, is amazing. And so what she's done is she uses it as an office. But we talked about all the different possibilities, whether you kind of remodel it slightly and turn it into a 1-bedroom, or you turn it into a gym. It could be great for long-term guests that come over, if you have relatives from far away. So it's a great space.
It really is, and if a lot of the core heavy lifting stuff has been done. Like both HVAC systems have been replaced in 2018. All the pool motor and filter had been replaced just this year. I mean, there's so many things that have been taken care of on this place.
This is one of the houses that you want to buy because it's beautiful, but also because of the upgrades and the maintenance that they've done to it.
Yeah.
This is one of the houses that you get in and you're like, oh, I get to live here and not have to do things to it, which I think people, if you want to, we can always find houses that need a lot of love in it. This is one of those ones, get in and immediately have a great life.
So this is 5045 Milam Street. It's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 1-car garage, built in 1956. It's about 2,300 square feet, including, I believe that includes the cabana space.
I think you're right.
And it is priced at $1,350,000, $571 a square foot for a piece of Dallas architecture and history.
That's right. And we want to say thank you so much to Carla Hay for allowing us to feature this home. What we like to do is provide a link in the comments so that you can click on it and look at the pictures that we didn't use, but you can also zoom in and out on that map, and you can also share it to someone who else might be interested in it. If you would like to take a look at this home, please let us know, and we would be happy to make that happen. Jeff, what's next?
What would the professionals do?
About what? Selling their home.
What great agents do. I'm like, what are you talking about?
So it was interesting. So I think that we were talking with Zach about how we both listen to podcasts now differently, and how, like, I look at articles and you or send me an article and be like, hey, check out the way that they did the title, or, you know, how they captioned this. And so one of the ones that struck us both was, there was a really interesting article, but it was about medical, and it was talking about what doctors would never have done or what they would. And you and I always talk about, we are realtors, but we're also consultants. And we help people with the largest decisions that they're financially going to make 90% of the time. And so I guess what we wanted to share with you is what we would and would not do when it comes to selling our own homes. Because, I mean, this is near and dear to our hearts, and you know.
It's kind of what we have done and what we haven't done.
Yeah. So we're going to let you go first with the first question.
So would you know, there's this great controversy about delayed marketing and hip pockets and coming soons, and would you ever list your house as a hip pocket listing?
Is there a gun to my head? I don't think I think that there has been a lot of hype on what a hip pocket means, and I think that sometimes in Dallas it can get spun up that it's an exclusive, but I think that it can be a shortcut for an agent. And I don't think, well, I know that it does not get all the eyeballs that would want to buy my house. And so for that, I would never, ever sell my house in a hip pocket. Never. There's no way.
I feel like there's a small niche for everything, and I think there is a niche for that, but it doesn't make sense for, like, you and I.
So the only time that I think that an exclusive like that makes sense is when there's a security situation at hand. Where if we're talking about, like, George W. Bush when he bought and sold his house, you know, that probably would never ever hit the market because people don't need to go through that house. Even if they're being escorted by another agent, I just don't think.
Or Secret Service.
Yeah, Secret Service. Yeah, I think that those type of scenarios. Mark Cuban, I don't think Mark Cuban would ever put his house on the market unless he's moved completely out of it. So I think that from that standpoint, and even in today's Dallas market, so this could be completely different in Tampa or, you know, in Pennsylvania, but I think that I have seen more and more houses that come on the market where the seller has completely moved out and they're staged. So from that standpoint, there is no security issue, and I would 100% put it on the market. So I'm going to say 99.9% of the reason I would never. So, yeah. So here's my question. This is one that kind of I feel like we struggle with as listing agents, is when someone is saying, I feel that my house is worth this, but we present data that the house shows that it's worth this. So what would you be able to do? Would you be able to let go and say, I've lived here for 30 years and I can tell you all the reasons why it's great? Or would you be able to look at the comp data of the bird streets?
If I wanted to sell it, if I truly wanted to sell it, you follow market data.
Yeah.
And it's not, market data is not just the last sold at MLS.
Correct.
Market market data is the direction of the market.
Right.
It's trends. But I mean, you can even do yourself a disservice by having I feel, I have to have. You can do yourself a disservice by having that mindset, because the market data may show that you can get more for that house.
Well, that's true. That is absolutely true. I think it's also important, this isn't on the questions, but I think that, do you feel like there is a focus on time when it should be moved out?
Yeah, time is never to a seller's advantage.
Right.
Never.
I'd agree with that.
I can't think of how it would be. So
Interesting.
So if you were selling your home, would you want to be there at all the showings and be there at all the inspections?
This is one of the times when you have to let go and let God. Jesus, take the wheel. Because I think that when someone comes into the house and you're there, I think that I can sell the house because I know the house better than anybody else, and this is what I do for a living, and I should be the. No, I shouldn't. Because me in the way never ever lets the person actually fully imagine themselves in the house.
Even just from a psychology perspective, the buyer's never, as long as that seller physically is standing there, I don't think that buyer's ever going to see themselves as the owner of that house. And that's really the opportunity you want to give buyers, is to let them see what the house looks like, let them feel what it is. But if you've got an owner over here yapping about everything that is important to them about the house,
they may not even care.
They may not even care. I mean,
It's funny because when you and I go on listing appointments and we get to this point, we know that everything's going in the right direction. We talk about the increase in sticky time and what increases sticky time. And I would say one of the things that increases sticky time the most is when the home is vacant and the actual buyer can experience it and imagine themselves in the home. When they sit down at the kitchen table or they lean on that kitchen island, that's when they're figuring out how it makes it work for their life.
And chances are, if that seller's standing there, they're not going to do that.
100% not. They have there's a decorum that takes over. All right, so I would leave. And then here's one for you. In today's marketing, it's so interesting how amazing these iPhone cameras are, Jeff. Do you think that it would be okay to use your iPhone to gather all the images that you're going to put in MLS? No? Why? There's even a night setting on here now. I mean, you can change the f-stop, Jeff. Put it on cinematic. It's fine.
I don't know. No,
it's not.
We would not use iPhone photos.
No, ever.
And a lot of agents do.
Yeah.
So would you launch with a strategic marketing strategy?
I think, yeah, 100% yes on that. There has to be that strategy. You have to take in consideration when does school start, what holidays have shown up, what's the weather going to be like, do we forecast there's going to be a decrease in rates or an increase? Like, do we need to hurry or do we need to slow down? And I think not having that strategic, and I hear agents not taking that into consideration, and I just want to kick you and be like, did you hear what that person just said?
It's like, one of the things that I think a lot of our customers like, or clients like, is that we talk to them about timing.
100%.
And we talk to them about, we have 4 people. We had 4 or 5 people last year, in the last quarter of last year, that we could have pressed them to sell their house and pressed them to reduce their price and pressed them to, to go. But we had the conversation with them about timing and strategy, and do you really need to sell it 3rd or 4th quarter of this year, or can you wait till the 1st quarter of next year? Because chances are, the market's going to be different. Even in a declining market, chances are, if you can get through that holiday period, you're going to be better on the other side of it. if you need to sell your house today, we're gonna sell your house today,
Right.
And we're gonna tell you about the market. We're gonna talk about numbers. We're also gonna have this conversation with you. And there are people that today they need to sell their house for whatever reason.
Even like to the point where you and I will look, and if there's low competition in the area, that's a really great time to sell. Being mindful of those things. So it's not always just the time or the dollar. There are lots of factors that you and I always put in the position and then make decisions based on the data. So, all right.
Well, I hope you found this helpful. If there's any other questions that you'd like to know how we would handle if we were selling our own house, we'd be happy to address that.
And just remember, we want to be your realtors for life.
Did you know there are a lot of ways you can keep up with us? For starters, every Wednesday at noon, we host Sold with Updike Pugh, live from our Facebook and YouTube channels. Our show is dedicated to featuring some of the best homes in the Dallas market and about sharing timely information about market trends. But don't worry if you missed the show, because you can always listen to them on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify.
Still want more? Follow us on Instagram, where you get a first-hand look at what it's like to be a realtor. It's not always previewing homes for clients or getting them ready to go live in MLS. Lastly, visit our website and you'll be able to create a custom home search tailored specifically to your wants and needs that's timely and accurate. Whether it's square foot, location, or the neighborhood, we have you covered.
If you'd like to know how much your home is worth, we can help with that too. Just visit homeprice.fyi, enter a few pieces of information like your home address, and we'll email you a price. When you're ready to talk real estate, you can reach us online, by phone, or by text at 214-377-2223.
And remember, we want to be your realtors for life.